we talk about the tone of The West Wing a little bit?
Well, I think all the comedy that I've been doing up to date was stuff that was still reality based. And one time, American cinema editors asked me if I would do a talk about what comedy editing was. And I thought, what is comedy editing? And I thought, you could take any dailies and make them a comedy or a drama. It's just how you interpret things. And I thought, if you interpret things as a comedy, you are seeing the world as absurd. There's an innate absurdity to it, but with a drama, there's an innate tragedy to it. So I think it's just a spin that you're putting on what you're looking at. And so I think that you're still dealing with something that's reality-based, but when you go into the drama, you're just putting a different spin on it. And I think that you could look at Aaron Sorkin going from Sports Night to now doing The West Wing and doing it very comfortably, because there's still a certain humor in there too. One of the things that Aaron would do with us all the time, though, was he would always have a tone meeting. So we would go through the script and understand what the intention of each scene was supposed to be, which was always a big help.
That's great. What is your approach to editing drama, and how does it differ when you're doing that comedy? I mean, a little bit more about
the tragedy and...
Yes.
I think that a lot of times when you're doing the drama, you have to pay a little bit more attention to the words and the slightly different rhythm to them. Maybe there's a little bit more of an urgency, or maybe, like with Aaron, there's a lot of the overlaps. Maybe how you're holding on something might be a slightly different interpretation for a dramatic impact or things like that. So it's something subtle, but I think that Richard Schiff gave me a really good example of something one time, and he told me everything he does has a before and an after. And I thought that was really a great notion for placing acting and placing reaction shots and all of that, and really just paying attention to what actors are doing. And I think one of the things I tried to do, because a lot of times with comedy, the actor's trying to go for something that's funny. But with drama, they might be going for something that has a lot of subtext to it. So you're watching the dailies and you're trying to figure out what is it that actor's trying to get to, or how are they interpreting the material, because it could be a lot of subtext to it, which you might not necessarily have in a comedy. And a lot of times, like if you have a guest star or something like that, sometimes editing-wise, it's a big help if you try to figure out what their backstory is, so you understand why that character might be doing something. Because I think that with drama, there's a lot more about intention.